Welcome back to the CSIR, where we are attending a fantastic forum that is putting together some incredible technologies, not only from South Africa, but from around the world. And we're busy having a look at some of them. We've now walked into the display area where a lot of people from all over the world, I mean, we've got Ecuador standing right next to us, and behind us we've got this wonderful stand that's basically showing urbanization, but how to create an environment in an urban area. And I think it's absolutely wonderful. It's a collaboration with Switzerland and Italy, but it's very much so alive and thriving here in South Africa, especially with space being a very rare commodity in many of those cities. And also we're finding that here in South Africa as well, especially in something like the inner city, where there's just no space for gardens. This is allowing people to grow their own vegetables and creating these environmentally sustainable lifestyles. So there's some great initiatives happening. Now, my next guest is somebody that I think is going to be a bit of an inspiration to everybody. Her name is Barbara Glover, and she works as a young professional under the Science, Technology and Innovation and Industrialisation of the NEPAD, Planning and Coordinating Agency of the African Union. You and I were laughing at how long that title is, but it's such an incredible title to hold and job to hold with the stuff that you're doing. Welcome, Barbara. Great to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Now, one of the incredible things that you do, just one of them, and this is what got my attention, is that you're instrumental in organising the very first ever over 35 African nations representing the continent as a first Global Robotics Olympics in Washington. Talk to me about this.
Okay, so this was an event that was held in July in Washington, D.C. So it brings together young people that are interested in robotics and artificial intelligence, and they come together to compete. It's sort of like in an Olympic fashion. So they come together to compete and create robots that can help in solving challenges that we have, like water and energy and other challenges that we have in relation to the Sustainable Development Goals.
I want to talk about robotics for a little bit, because robotics is something that many of us, as you and I were discussing off air, when you think of robotics, it's almost like you develop something like RoboCop that walks around and does all these wonderful things. But it's not only about that. Talk to me about what robotics, the essence of robotics is.
Okay, so robotics actually borders or is within a field you call artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is simply a machine doing what human beings do, like basic tasks, having intelligence to do what human beings do. So it's as complex as a RoboCop, but as simple as Siri on your iPhone or Google search, where you want to find out the next thing that you want on the internet. So it's as simple as that. We have a wide range of things that can fit into this mold of artificial intelligence or robotics, and it's not always as complex as what we see on TV.
So the reality is artificial intelligence, as you're describing it, is vital to the development of Africa. But how important is it really?
I believe that because of the challenges we face as a continent, it's very important that we start looking at artificial intelligence and robotics. We have challenges with energy and with power and with health, and we have so many innovative tools that have been designed that can solve these challenges. We have tools that can detect cancer in a patient, and it uses artificial intelligence, and especially with places where we have inadequate education access, we can use artificial intelligence to communicate and get students to understand the basic things that a child in an urban setting may get from school through maybe a computer or a laptop or an electronic device that grants them the access to have that same level of education and be competitive with people that are in urban centers.
I mean, when you talk the way you do, one can only assume that this would help Africa reach our MDGs, our Millennium Development Goals, faster, and that more investment needs to be made into this. I mean, I think that's very much so key to a message that you're going to be delivering today as well.
Yes, I'm hoping through our discussion today in our session to encourage mostly young people to come on board in solving the challenges that we have as a continent, because I believe that these challenges, when addressed, will be of more benefit to young people, because we will be in the workforce when the challenges are addressed than the people that are in the workforce currently. And thus, through the session, we hope that we could get young people talking about the challenges we face as a continent and coming together to find sustainable solutions.
You know, this brings up a very big discussion as well, and an argument that many, I suppose, or you can help me a bit understand it, is that we're living in a continent that's ravaged by poverty. So which is twofold. Robotics, many people believing that these are going to take jobs away, and they're not going to create jobs, but rather take them away and have robots do our jobs that you and I conveniently or conventionally have done. And at the same time, it also takes a lot of investment to get up to where global standards are. So just those two questions. Can Africa afford robotics and the development into it, and also the loss of jobs? Is this true?
Well, it is true that it is estimated that 7 million jobs will be lost with the advance of artificial intelligence, even though it will create 2 million jobs as an estimation. And I believe that's why these discussions are very important. We need to start talking now, because the fact is it's inevitable. We have so many young people today have iPhones, and as I said earlier, you have Siri and you have so many apps on there that are artificial intelligence. So we need to start talking now about our educational systems. What are we going to do to ensure that the workforce that we are producing will not be redundant when artificial intelligence takes place? What are we going to do about the professions, the mainstream professions that we are used to? When artificial intelligence comes in, there has to be other job creation avenues out there that we have to explore as young people. And I believe that's why these discussions are very important.
Amazing. Barbara, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. And I know that Barbara's going to be giving an address today. The session is called The Future Decides Today, the Africa We Want. This basically focusing in on the importance of young Africans being actively involved in shaping the future of Africa. Barbara Glover, thank you very, very much for talking to us here on the program. The importance of artificial intelligence and robotics for the development of the African continent. Get on board or miss the train altogether. I think that's the message. All right, let's take a break here on the program. We'll have lots more coming to you from the CSIR in the next hour on Morning Live. Do stay tuned.